Okay, the Word 66 is a Christian rock band spreading the word from rocky melodies and positive lyrics, hailing from Las Vegas, Nevada. Here to chat with us about their latest single, I'll Be There, let's welcome Steve Scott. Steve, man, how
Thank you
are
so
you?
much. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us a little bit how this journey started for you guys.
This is basically a calling for me. So back about, I guess it was about 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. I had this little incident that happened in my life, and I felt that God had reached out to me and basically told me that my purpose for being is that I'm supposed to write the music to glorify his name. So that's where the journey began, man. So then I started writing some music. So the first EP, which is called On the Way to the Promised Land, it had 4 tracks on there, 3 originals and 1 cover that we did of Spirit in the Sky.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and it came out really cool, man, because there's actually a lot of people that have told us that they like it better than the original. So that's really cool and very complimentary. So anyway, so I started writing that EP, and then I didn't have a band at the time, so I actually put um, an ad out on Craigslist. Are you familiar with Craigslist?
I am. Yes, definitely. I'm sorry. Can you hold on 1 second for me? I'm sorry.
Sure.
I'm so sorry.
Sure.
Hold on a moment.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so you're talking about an ad on Craigslist, you said.
Correct. The very famous Craigslist, and usually you don't get great results from there, but I actually put an ad out for a drummer, and our first drummer, Dave, reached out, and then we became friends and we started playing. And then eventually we wound up getting our vocalist, Brian, as well. So then, so we kind of had the band together at that point. So we went into the studio and we recorded our first EP. Um, by God's grace, the first track that we put out was called On the Way to the Promised Land, which was the name of the EP. And it really took off. It's like everybody loved it. And what was so beautiful too is that we're what you would consider a crossover band, because not only do we get like a lot of radio play in the Christian world, but we get a ton of radio play in the non-Christian world, which is a beautiful thing, because technically that's really where the message needs to be spread.
Well, it looks like you've been having some great luck with your songs. Tell us about some of the charting and different stations, that you got your spins going on, man. This sounds really good.
We've been so blessed that all of our tracks, so this is our third EP that we're putting out now, all of our tracks except for one have reached #1 somewhere in the world. We just had a #1 track just last week on this pretty big station in Canada called KB Radio, and the previous track, which is called "Tell Me," that reached #1. So, like I said, all of our songs have reached #1 somewhere in the world. We are charting right now on the SMR charts. We were I just got this thing yesterday. We're #7 as far as it's called something like Shakers and Movers or something like that. And on that list, it's really cool because we're on the list with the Foo Fighters and 3 Days Grace and Aerosmith and who else? I think Mudvayne is on there too. So it's like all these really cool bands that we are charting with as well. So that's really cool. So our manager and he's friends with this big radio guy, and he's pushing this stuff for us to help us get out there and get some radio play in the mainstream world. So anyway, things took off right away, and then we wound up recording some more stuff a little bit down the road. Recorded a second EP. We hooked up with Danny Miranda, who's from Queen and Blue Oyster Cult. We hooked up with him, and he's done the bass work for the last couple of records. As a matter of fact, he was in town doing a Halloween show just the other day, and so he put us on the guest list, and we got to hang out with him for a while, so that was really cool. He's a great bassist, great guy, so we got to work with him as well. So I'm not sure how much further I should go. I don't know if you have more questions, or am I going to answer them, or
Oh yeah,
what should I
yeah,
do?
definitely. Tell us how you ended up hooking up with him to get in on this project with you.
Excuse me. So Danny is from Long Island, New York, and I am from Long Island, New York. So we know some of the same people. We've recorded in some of the same studios as well. And when we were in the studio recording, it just so happens that our engineer slash producer is a really good friend of Danny's as well. And he was like, you know something, man? He says, we should really get Danny to do the bass tracks on these songs. I think he'll love them. Let me send them to him. Let's see what he thinks about it, and see if he's into doing it. So we sent them the tracks, and he loved it. And yeah, he really digs this project, and it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah. So have you guys been playing? I assume the circuit in Long Island for probably a little while there in Long Island, New York, playing the different clubs and stuff.
I'm in Vegas.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
You're
Danny,
in Vegas. So he
I'm
was,
in
I'm
Vegas. Yeah.
sorry, I got confused. Yeah, you're right. You're
Oh,
out in
no worries.
Vegas. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, I'm in Vegas. I'm from Long Island, and that's where I kind of knew Danny, but I'm actually in Vegas myself.
Okay. So are you hitting the clubs out there, playing the different spots out there? How's that been for you?
We're not doing a whole lot of live shows at the moment, but we plan to
Okay.
get some tours going very shortly.
Okay. Okay. Definitely. So you got a lot of that under your belt, and you're definitely pushing that. So you said you had a lot of radio coverage with this, and I was talking to Michael Sweet from Striper the other day about this, and there's kind of still I don't know if you feel this still. There's still like kind of a challenge bringing the Christian rock music out. There's kind of sometimes it can be a little difficult, shall we say, or even get some negativity even toward it, right?
Very much so. Yeah, there are some places that I will send the music to, and they'll just come right out and say, "Yeah, we don't play religious music on the station." And I'll tell you a story too. Is that like the new track that we have out? It's called "I'll Be There." It's a power ballad. So the previous tracks that we had, so the new record is called 37 Miracles. Basically, 37 miracles is the amount of miracles that's biblically recorded in the Bible that Jesus performed. So he's done a lot more than 37 miracles, but actually printed in the Bible, there's 37 miracles. So I was really inspired, and I wrote this song. So, and then the next track was called Tell Me that we put out. So we have this radio guy that's working with us now, and like we sent him the tracks, and we're like, hey, can you get this on regular radio
Right.
for
Get some
us, and
spins
help,
for this. Yeah.
yeah, help us to get charts, get legitimately charted, in some of these places on some of these radio
Yeah,
stations.
because it's both nowadays, right? You need spins and you need streams, both really to
Absolutely.
get the music out there, right?
Absolutely. And the fact that we're a Christian band, like you said, there's a lot of people that won't play the Christian music. There's like hardly any um, mainstream radio places that will play the music. So that was the problem that we had, is that, we sent him. So we're managed by PCM Management, which is Paul Crosby. He used to be the drummer for Saliva for like 25 years. So he's got this radio guy, and he sent them the tracks and said, hey, man, can you work this stuff for me?
Right.
And they were like, no, it's got too much religious, connotations in there that I can't do anything with this.
Right. A lot of the main staple radio stations, they're very, very selective on what they play, right? You might bridge us over like to internet radio, like I do my show on Rock Rage Radio, and we play everything that FM radio won't play. So we're real
Yes.
open to playing, all different types of music, and just to see, if people get a feel for that and they want to hear that. But I know a lot of this, even around here in where I'm in the Western New York area, you know what I mean? They're very, very strict on what they're going to give airtime to. It's super hard. It's so competitive because it's all advertising dollars, right? Let's just say how it is. That's what it is, right?
It is. And moving a little forward, so this new track, I'll Be There, there's really no religious, nothing is mentioned about God specifically, nothing's mentioned about Christ. It's just a good power ballad. So when we sent it to the guy to check out this time, he was like, "Oh yeah," he says, "I could definitely work this." So right now, we're charting pretty well right now, actually, and it's really funny because we've got uh, they sent us one of the charts just yesterday, and we have like the number 7 song out there that's been added to all these different radio stations and stuff. And it's funny because the new one from Aerosmith is like number 8 or number 9. So it's really cool, man, that we're finally getting a chance to break into the mainstream world and for people to start listening to what we have to say.
Yeah, that's excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I know it's, I was just saying, I know it's so difficult, even if it's not religious based, just new music in general seems to be so hard to break nowadays. I really give it up for anybody that's doing original music, and that's what I want to see, and that's what we promote. You know what I mean? To get these bands moving and to get these new bands out there and stuff. But it's just so hard. Original tracks, coming through. It's just crazy. And obviously in the US market, it's kind of very, very clicky, very, very poppy, dancey still, unfortunately, you know what I mean? So it's even harder to move in there. Have you run into that type of thing also?
Oh, not really. I mean, we're pretty much like a metal band, so it's kind of like so we're in that category of the hard rock and the metal things. So we don't have that issue. But I know exactly what you're saying because I will check the charts and I will check Billboard out and stuff like that too, just to see what's out there and stuff. And
Right.
it seems like a lot of the stuff that's out there now, the top 40, is really kind of EDM kind of based now.
Yeah.
That's like the new thing. It's kind of like it's reverted back to like everything is like fast BPMs, and it's got that kind of EDM feel to it.
Yeah, but in different countries, it's a whole different case, right? If you go
It
to
really
like the
is.
UK or to Japan or things like that, they love hard rock and metal music,
Yes,
and they're so welcoming to US bands, right?
it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. But I know what you're saying about how hard it is to break into the radio, and you got to remember too that I mean, stations like yourself too. I mean, you probably open your inbox and there's probably like 50,000 bands sending you new music. You know, so it's even more so, I guess, in the mainstream world, and they can be kind of picky and choosy, especially and mostly toward the big label stuff that's out. You know,
Oh, definitely,
so
yeah, definitely. I get lots of stuff sent to just myself all the time. So I imagine the bigger folks with the even larger reach, are getting their inboxes are getting flooded with stuff of trying to promote and new bands coming out and new music. And yeah, I know it's difficult, but it sounds like you definitely have some good folks in your corner here to start
yes.
out with, right? You got some good radio folks. You got a great producer helping you put this together, and you're starting to get some spins and some traction on that, definitely. And the new track, I'll Be There is a great track. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you're doing well with that, definitely. So what's
Thanks,
the
man.
yeah what's the plan going forward after this? What are you guys looking to do?
So we've released 3 singles so far of the EP. So um there's 6 tracks, and there might be another one that we might add before it comes out. So we're gonna probably release the actual official EP probably this month or next month. We definitely want to do some touring. We definitely want to get out there as well. Want to do some new videos. We still, of course, have a couple more songs or a few more songs that still need to be released. And we're really excited about them too, man, because it's like we've got some really cool stuff that we believe that is also, stuff that could do really well. Um, One of the songs is definitely not mainstream because it's definitely it's called "Heed the Words," and it's basically it means heed the words of what Jesus is preaching. and it talks about like his journey, and he was going past the Sea of Galilee and he saw a couple men and he shouted out, "Come follow me." It's that kind of stuff. So there's no way that mainstream radio is going to have anything to do with that. And then there's another one called The Sky is Falling, which could do really well because, again, it doesn't specifically say anything about God and about Christ in there, but it's basically about the flood, the 40 days and 40 nights kind of thing.
Right.
Or some people may think it has to do with Revelations.
Right.
So, but it doesn't come out and say those things. So that's a really rocking track, and I think we're excited about getting that out there as well. Of course, the possibility of like a major label kind of thing would be a wonderful thing, but that's almost impossible these days.
Yeah, it's such a different world with labels nowadays, right? I mean, even if you get on a label, it's like, you don't get support like you used to do back in the day. You don't get, tour support or, different promotional support really. It's just the reach really is all it is at this point, right? You know what I mean? They'll have a little bit more reach and distribution is what the labels will offer, but there's a lot of lesser known labels, shall we say, not the top ones, that definitely give a lot of new bands spins and time to talk with them. I see that a lot, you know what I mean? I see even a lot of the classic bands have been taken on by like for instance Frontiers. You see all these 80s classic bands coming back with stuff through Frontiers, and same thing with Brave Words. They Brave Words Records, they do the same type of thing, but there's all kinds of different labels. Yeah, but I know the bigger labels, and I'm kind of not too happy about the fact kind of what happened with all this, right? The big labels kind of sold all the artists out. Really, if you want to, you know what I mean? They sold it all out to Spotify, and these artists now make, pennies on these songs, which is crazy to me. I think that's ridiculous. But anyway, that's another topic. But yeah,
a lot of people don't know the fact that, like, in order for you to even get interest from a major label, you've got to have crazy numbers out there, like on your socials, on your Spotify. I mean, you have to really go viral.
It's all about the numbers. It's all about the numbers.
You got to go viral, and that is so hard to do. And you're talking about the other labels too. It's like, so my manager, Paul, he was like, I could get you on one of those smaller labels tomorrow. He says, with the music that you got, he says, but you've got to pay them. A lot of people don't know this. You've got to pay them to be on the label. And they're really not going to do that much for you, So it's kind of like, it's not like with the major labels, you get a deal and they'll take care of all your stuff. They'll take care of your touring. They'll take care of your videos.
You got to be able to move units, right? If you're not moving thousands of units, you know what I mean, off from the get-go, or you can show that, like you said, it's all about the numbers. If you've shown 30,000 copies of something or whatever, if you kill those numbers, then they'll look at you. You know what I mean? Right. But otherwise they're not gonna risk their return on something, right? So it's very cutthroat. It's very cutthroat. I know that.
Yeah. And like Paul said to me, he says, hey, man, I know some really cool labels. He said, I'll get you on there and like tomorrow, man. I'll send them your stuff. They'll sign you like tomorrow. He says, but you're going to pay them. He says, you'll be able to say you're on this label if that's what you want to say, if that makes a difference to you. He says, but it doesn't mean they're going to do anything. And you've got to pay them a certain amount of money to even be on that label. I think the real thing nowadays is just to promote the material correctly. You know what I mean? On all the different platforms, I think that's the biggest thing, is how you promote yourself, how your image is, what the verbiage is that you want to put out there for whatever you're doing and stuff. I think those are like the key points, just to promote it correctly. It's actually, I mean, it's like the algorithms are like so crazy on some of this stuff nowadays. To try to get it to move, But I kind of look at it in the other way. It's like now there's all these different platforms to do stuff on. So, you can at least,
check them out and see what you can do on it. But yeah, it's all about promoting yourself and promoting your material for sure.
Yeah.
All right, excellent, man. Well, you got a lot of stuff going on here. I really like the new track. Very, very cool. So thank you so much for spending some time with us, man. Best of luck to you on this. Keep in touch with us and let us know how things are going moving forward.
Absolutely. I appreciate your time. Thanks for having me on. And a new single probably in a couple months or so, so you're probably looking maybe January or something like that. We'll have another track out, and hopefully the full CD will be out as well.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so that wraps up this episode of Talk About Rock. Thanks to my guest, Steve Scott from the Word66. And to our listeners out there, we hope you're keeping the torch alive and supporting live music wherever you are. Steve, again, thanks, man.
Thanks. God bless, man.